profile, the young woman seated in Leyna Clarke's section looked so much like her sister that she nearly dropped a plate of chorizo and eggs. Then the young woman shifted in her chair, and her nose was a little too long, her mouth a little too wide. Not Grace. It will never be Grace. After 16 years, Leyna understood that. Most days, anyway. Still, it didn't stop her from looking for her sister in every woman who was the right height or had the right shade of strawberry blonde hair, or from wanting the stranger to be Grace so intensely that the scar on her forearm began to itch. Hands full, she couldn't scratch, and the itch flared, hot and insistent. The past hated to be ignored. Apparently, so did the two men at table 34. One of them cleared his throat loudly enough that Leyna at first worried he might be choking. She pulled her attention away from the strawberry blonde to focus on the man with the phlegmy throat, but she felt the other woman's presence like a pulse beneath her scar. The man, shaved head a deep coral with the heat, cleared his throat again and waved aggressively at the plate she carried.
"Think we can get that while it's still warm?"
"Oh, yeah, sorry." She set the plate between the bald man and his companion, forcing a wide smile. Although it was early in her shift, her cheeks already throbbed, but she really needed the tips to make rent. Leyna had worked at the cafe since moving to Reno at 18, and with the run of triple-digit temperatures, it was the deadest she'd ever seen it in the 10 years since. Especially her section on the patio. Despite the spray misters, overlapping umbrellas, and tiny fans they handed out to the customers, the outdoor seating remained mostly empty. Even the potted trees that lined the stamped concrete looked like they were headed for the door, leaves drooping slightly as if flagging for the check. "Can I get you anything else?" she asked, casting a sideways glance toward the back of the patio. Why had the young woman been seated there? With a choice of 2 and 4 tops, the host should have put her inside, or at least closer to the other tables. The bald man shook his head as he shoveled eggs onto the toast plate, the spicy scent of the chorizo heavy on the feeble breeze. 1 breakfast special to share, along with the 2 waters she'd delivered earlier. Definitely won't make rent off table 34. Excusing herself, Leyna wiped her palms on her jeans. Her former manager had let the servers wear Bermuda shorts when the weather grew unbearable, but Stefan was far more rigid. Black or dark blue jeans only. No rips. White-collared shirts, no more than 1 button undone. When Leyna pointed out that he managed a cafe and not the French Laundry, Stefan had scheduled her for Tuesday afternoon shifts on the patio. Even now, she caught him glaring at her from inside the restaurant, waiting for her to make another mistake. Ignoring Stefan, Leyna hurried toward the back of the patio where the strawberry blonde waited, gaze fixed on her phone. As Leyna drew closer, she saw the woman was even younger than she'd thought. 18 or 19, she guessed. Only a couple of years older than Grace had been when she'd disappeared. In her classic plaid skirt and green cap-sleeved blouse, she dressed a lot like Grace had, too. Fingertips brushing the smooth skin of her scar, Leyna made note of the 2 sets of silverware on the table. "Are you waiting on someone?" "A friend." The young woman seemed nervous as she stared at her phone, an older model with a cheap plastic case, and her nose wrinkled at whatever she saw on the screen. Her nails were short, the manicure fresh enough that lavender polish filled the grooves on both of her pinkies. On her wrist, she wore a hinged open gold cuff with a scarlet rose capping each end. The bits of red glass in the petals glinted in the harsh sunlight. Finally, the girl set her phone on the table and looked up, and Leyna's breath caught mid-exhale